Well, I got to give it up to Tyson Fury. Congratulations to Tyson on a big victory last night, knocking out Deontay Wilder in the 11th round. Took it out of the hands of the judges, left no doubt this time that he's the king of the heavyweight division. Pretty sick and tired of hearing people saying, oh yeah, what a great fight it was. A great fight, great fight. Yeah, it was a great fight if you're a Tyson Fury fan. If you're a Deontay Wilder fan, it wasn't great. It was frustrating to watch, very painful to watch, and ultimately very disappointing. The best prepared athlete won last night, and that was Tyson Fury. Deontay was exhausted after the 4th round and was unable to maintain the pace that he started in the 1st round. And Tyson Fury was able to, keep a fast pace, the entire fight, and basically, burned him out, burned Deontay out. Which brings up questions about Deontay Wilder's training. One frustrating thing was, his conditioning, right? Another frustrating thing is, his footwork is horrible. Didn't energize his footwork at all. Apparently, that's not something that they work on in the gym. And even though he put on the extra weight and his upper body looked great, you could see that his lower body, his legs, were given very little attention because they were still, skinny as ever, barely any muscle apparent on the calves. And if you compare like his legs, the way that Manny Pacquiao's legs look, and Manny is known to derive additional power by driving from the ground through the legs. And, I would have liked to seen them do that, put more emphasis on, building up his leg strength, his foundation. If you look at the first 2 fights, to go to another subject real fast, if you look at the first 2 fights, right, there's a huge gap, just a tremendous gap in skill level. So, that is not really concerning because damn near everybody Deontay has knocked out, has been a better boxer than him. Luis Ortiz was outboxed him until he got knocked out. Gerald Washington outboxed him until he got knocked out. And, the list goes on and on and on. But acknowledging the gap in skill, your strategy then going into this 3rd fight has to be different ways to set up the knockout, right? How many knockout punches can you land? Different setups to land knockout punches. Shh, quiet. In the hopes that one of those knockout punches is going to put him down and keep him down. And I did like the way that Deontay started, throwing the jab and then throwing the right hand to the body, which is something we've not seen him do a lot of in the past. But he didn't keep a sustained body attack the way like Julio Cesar Chavez used to do, right? In fact, after the 3rd round, I don't think he threw the right hand to the body like ever again. So, because you fought the guy a couple of times, you know what his strengths are, you know what his weaknesses or whatever, and you know the things that he was giving you trouble with in the past. And one of the things that he got troubled Deontay with in the past is clinching and putting him in the headlock and then leaning over him. So, if you got 2 years to prepare, like, wouldn't you work out a solution for that? So every time he tries to put you in the headlock, you do something else and escape and evade, counter, whatever. But no. Nope, no solution again. Every time we wanted to put him in a headlock, put him in a headlock again. So it's like, it raises the question, like I said, about the training. Like, who the hell were you training for? Man, it was so frustrating. And then, I mean, for God's sakes, somebody tell Deontay Wilder to throw the right hand straight. Stop throwing a looping overhand right. Because when you throw a looping overhand right, your fist is moving away from the target initially. It's moving away from your opponent at first, and then going back in at a fast pace. So as it's moving away from him, though, that's a telegraph. That's signaling to Fury, hey, I'm about to throw a punch at you. And that gave Fury time to duck underneath, which is what he did, 98% of the time, right? Ducked underneath the punch and avoided it. I mean, throw the right hand straight. I remember in the first fight, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the first fight, going into the 11th round, between the 10th and 11th, Mark actually told him, throw the right hand straight. But he didn't say it to him with any sense of urgency, and he wasn't emphatic at all. And that was one of my complaints, about Mark. And probably one of the reasons why, as I've said before, Deontay didn't listen to him. And if Deontay's not going to listen to him, what good is it? What good is it having him in the training if you're not going to listen to him? So, I mean, sometimes you got to get emphatic in the corner the way Emmanuel Stewart used to do I mean, sometimes he used to tell Tommy, like, Tommy, you know, throw the motherfucking right hand and let's go home. You know, you can't just say, oh, throw the right hand and just, you know, say it so casually and whatever, as if it's not important. And this guy got to throw the right hand straight down the middle, the same way Sugar Hill was telling Fury to do. And then Deontay has a bad habit of telegraphing his jab too. So instead of throwing the jab straight to the target and straight back, you'll notice he goes like this and then throws it. Get back. I'm a Dutch Shepherd with me today. So as soon as you do this, number one, it's a telegraph, but then number two, now it becomes a pushing punch instead of a snapping punch. And if you step forward with it the way Tyson Fury was doing, it could actually be, you know, a power jab. So, you know, Deontay unfortunately still has a lot of amateurish flourishes in his game, and I get it. He never corrected it because, you know, you knock out 40-something people. You feel like, hey, why should I correct it? But at this point, you know, I think his right hand has taken him as far as it could take him. He's probably made close to $60 million, if not more. Definitely over $50 million with these 3 fights with Tyson Fury. 36 years old, and why not pack it in and go down in history as one of the greatest heavyweights ever, highest knockout percentage, and you know, call it a day, right off into the sunset, because yeah, sure, he could stay around and fight AJ. That would be a quiet fight a lot of people would like to see, but you know, AJ's going to take him into deep water and try to drown him for sure. Not that he'd be successful, but I mean, I just like to see him call it a day at this point. I don't want to see him take any more punishment. I'm out.